the cacophony of criticism, a cacophony of criticism and discontent rings hollow in the ears of a nation yearning for solidarity. Evil comrades have been telling us that they are disappointed with the party. Yeah, there are some comrades that do not appreciate the cacophony of criticisms. You see, the nation is yearning for solidarity. And while the government toils tirelessly to rebuild and to restore, the PNP choose to sow discord and division. And you know, it is not merely a partisan squabble. It's a test of character. And one thing that is becoming clear is that Mark Golding is unfit to lead Jamaica. The character of Golding is being tested and he is failing. You see, a lot of people hold the government to a high account. And I want to put on the table that the alternative prime minister is an abject failure. It's an abject failure. For we do not only need the prime minister now to carry this burden on behalf of Jamaica. It is expected that the alternative prime minister will also show leadership. And Mr. Golding's leadership is abysmal. Abysmal. I'm disappointed in you, Mark. I am. I'm very disappointed in Mark. The partisan squabble aside, the character of the leader of the opposition is also being tested. And there is a hope that the PNP would have risen to the occasion. But they have succumbed to the temptation of petty politics. It is very disheartening how the PNP supporters are behaving. There is a litany of negativity and obstruction. And this betrays the very principle of patriotism. At a time when Jamaica needs all hands on deck, the PNP has chosen to play politics, peddling falsehood and fueling fear. You know, if you're in a boat and it is taken in water, and all the people there are not helping to bail out the water, come out. Try swim for the shore. You're going to sink. And it appears to me that the comrades are not prepared to bail out the water now. In other words, is the Labour Party government problem? Let them fix it. No, 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 comrades. The Labour Party did not cause this problem. This is a problem that is beyond human ability. It's a natural disaster. And when you have a natural disaster, you don't play politics. We spoke this morning to a gentleman from the Bahamas, and he told us that in the Bahamas, when there is a natural disaster, you don't even know that there is an opposition. But I want you to mark this, listeners. Jamaica is being defined by the PNP right now. Jamaica is being defined or redefined by the PNP. But I will say this to you, that like a phoenix, Jamaica is going to rise. And Jamaica is going to rise stronger. And Jamaica is going to rise resilient. The new Jamaica may not include the comrades. Wow, what a shocking comment. I'm gonna prove it to you in the coming weeks that if the PNP does not change their approach, they risk becoming obsolete, because a new Jamaica is emerging. You see the dirty politics that is being practiced? All right. We will get back to that. A new Jamaica is emerging. And if the PNP, if they do not, Mr. Crawford, I hear you are likely being positioned for leadership. Is that true? If the PNP, if they do not change their strategies, the new Jamaica may very well not include them. You see, not only is Jamaica being defined, but the Prime Minister will be remembered for this moment. He's going to be remembered as the man who steered the ship through this storm. I want you to follow me, comrades, because you don't think a lot, you know. You tend to be very emotive, but you have to reason things out, okay? A new Jamaica is emerging. 40% of the island is devastated. We have to build back a new country. And you are not part of that rebuilding, comrades? Then when we build it back, we now go want you, you know. Because we need all hands on deck. So if we are building back a new Jamaica and you turn out on the outside and criticize those who are here working to build back that new Jamaica, when the new Jamaica done build, we will reject you. The people of Jamaica will reject you at the polls because of this moment. This is an inflection moment. Very, very important. And Holness is being defined as the leader who is steering the ship through these difficult waters. And Jamaicans, if he lands this on the shore and bring calm to the situation, he's going to win overwhelmingly the next time he goes to the polls. Remember that I told you that. Now, you know, politics is a funny game, but the person that is guiding Jamaica through these choppy waters is going to be rewarded very big. No, people are ungrateful, you know. But there are some other things at play. And if you follow this program, I will show them to you. Because the PNP is going to be judged harsher than the Labour Party. The very people of Westmoreland, the PNP may very well lose their support there because of how they are playing the political game. And you know, the PNP had a very bright legacy, but that legacy will forever be tarnished by their actions in this moment of crisis. Comrades, you are being defined by this moment. Because it's not a zero-sum game. The loss is not a gain for the comrades. Any loss now is Jamaica's loss. And any setback is our collective setback. And therefore, any advantage is going to the country. So I want to implore my comrade friends to reconsider the path that you are treading. Join hands with the government, with the people, and let us rebuild the nation together. For unity. It is in unity that we find strength. In division, there is only despair. To the people of Jamaica, I say, stay vigilant, stay strong, stay united. Don't let the comrades divide you. We shall overcome this together. We will rise, Jamaica. We shall rise. We shall rise. All right? And I see for us, as I look into the future, don't win elections. Parties do. The government don't win elections. It is the party that wins it. This dichotomy highlights the importance of maintaining a strong party presence on the ground, even as the government focuses on governance. You see, right now, the government is focused on governance. And remember, the government is managing a crisis. Laborites, listen. You make up a lot of noise sometimes too, but you need to learn the politics. In the context of Jamaica's current crisis, the PNP aggressive ground game has allowed them to dictate the narrative. They do so with emotionally charged rhetoric and misinformation. Meanwhile, the JLP is focused on governing. And because of the focus of the party on governing, they are sometimes slow to respond to the PNP. That must change. And if you don't change it, you have a local government election coming up, you know. I mean, the parliament may very well postpone that, but let's see what happens. There is an imbalance, and it underscores the need for the Jamaica Labour Party to bolster its ground operations, which supports both the government and the party's interests. You hear people talk, say you have to play politics. Play politics is not corrupt. It doesn't mean that you need to be corrupt. How much time do I have? Little time? Because I would deepen this with philosophy and show you why at this point the PNP may be controlling the narrative. You see, having a presence on the ground is crucial, because that's where you build relationship and trust with your constituents. You use it to gather information, political intelligence, and stay attuned to public sentiments. Watch me carefully, because at this time, the sentiments of the public should be fed into party headquarters every single day. The party should be aware of what is being said on the ground. In every community, what are the people saying? And then you counter the opposition's narrative and set the record straight. You cannot allow the opposition to spread misinformation, false information, and you don't set the record straight. And you keep your base energized and mobilized to respond to anything. You know that a party should always be ready for an election. A political party should not have to prepare for an election, you know. It should always be ready. So, I tell you, you have some catching up to do, you know, labor rights. The absence, you see, of this presence can lead to a vacuum, which the opposition will inevitably fill. And in Jamaica's case, the PNP's ground game has enabled them to capitalize on the government's vulnerabilities, often using fear and misinformation to sway public opinion. That's why polls are skewed, not because they are inherently incorrect, but they capture public's sentiments. And this has to be countered. To counter this, the Labour Party must recommit to its grassroots efforts, ensuring that their message is heard and their presence is felt. This requires a sustained investment in the party's ground infrastructure. Scratchy has been pointing this out, you know. So I give you three things. One, you have to acknowledge labor rights, the importance of grassroots politics. A strong party presence on the ground is essential to build trust, gather intelligence, and counter the narrative of the opposition, which is negative. It must be responded to. It must be countered. You have to take on the comrades. You have to take them on. Don't allow the comrades to control the ground. And if I may hasten to tell you that they made greater progress than the Labour Party because they won 14 additional seats. So you acknowledge and then you activate. You have to activate the party's machine. Don't get comfortable in government to the point where you neglect the ground. Remember, it is the ground that puts you in power. The ground grassroots support put you in power. Don't forget that. The People's National Party aggressive ground game must be countered by an active political machinery of the Jamaica Labour Party, not the government. You can't expect the ministers of the government to respond to the trash. Not the government. The party does. The party should be holding its own meetings, its own press conferences, has its own information machinery, not JIS, because JIS don't do JLP work. JIS do work for the government of Jamaica. Yes, when the government of Jamaica keeps a press conference, they are the government. When last has the Jamaica Labour Party held a press conference? Since the storm, JLP no hold a press conference, you know. Government hold press conference. But what does the Jamaica Labour Party have to say? Well, acknowledge, activate, and then you amplify. You have to amplify the government's message. So in addition to the government's PR, the party must have a dual information stream flowing out of Belmont Road that attacks, that counters, that responds, because you have to work to promote the government's achievements, counter misinformation, and showcase the government's vision for Jamaica. The Jamaica Labour Party have work to do in that regard. And if I may wrap this up by telling you that the concept of political ground game is deeply rooted in philosophical ideas. You know, maybe I should leave that alone, because that probably is going to take you a little bit more time. Yeah, let me get back to, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can do that at another time. Okay. Let's Caroline, let me hear from the callers. I probably need to give me a few more minutes, please. Just a few moments. There's a saying, you see, that the old is dying and the new cannot be born. The old is dying and the new cannot be born. You know, in that you find what is called a great variety of morbid symptoms. And in Jamaica's context, the old politics of division and polarization is dying, and a new era of politics is emerging. And I hope that the Labour Party supporters understands that. And so the party can effectively navigate this transition and connect with the people. Any party that is able to do that is going to be the party with the political advantage going forward. The old is dying and the new come on. I think that there is much in that you need to understand. I want you to recognize, you may not want to admit it, but the recent success of the PNP can be explained using philosophy, political philosophy. That I can't tell you on this program because it's too deep. But they are very good at politics. Very good at politics. And hello, Mr. Neighbour and Miss Caroline. You are remarkable, great, splendid, and unimpeachable. Wow. We're unimpeachable. The old is dying and the new cannot be born. A new politics is being born in Jamaica. And I will tell you this as I go to the listeners, that part of what you are seeing is the PNP crying in the labor ward. Crying in the labor ward. Mm-hmm. You see, the death of the old politics they're not burying it, you know. The PNP is refusing to bury the live is inactive. Caroline, we need to have it tapped in. All right. And the new that is being born has to be harnessed by the supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party. The party that can effectively navigate this transition and connect with the people will be best positioned for success going forward. I can tell you a little bit more if I have the time, maybe tomorrow or later on. Caroline, over to you and my callers.
Neighbour?
Yes?
John Major has been trying to reach us for a while and we haven't been able to have him on the show. Can I ask John Major at this point to send me a request?
Right. And then we try and clear the box as much as we can in the Cash App and Zelle account. And if you're in Canada, the transfer is available. We try to raise $150. 150 before 9 o'clock, and let's see what happens after that.
Neighbour?
Uh-huh.
I have decided that I will do the sponsorship for the first part, okay? So you could seek sponsorship for the other part.
Uh-huh. You sponsor 9 up to 9?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we need to sponsor the hour between 9 and 10 o'clock. All right, listeners. So let's come together and see if we can find how much to take us to 10 o'clock, Caroline?
100.
Huh?
I'll take 100.
$100. We need $100 for 9 to 10. Okay. Thank you, Caroline. You have sponsored 2 hours of the program tonight. What a fantastic lady. Good night, Power Man.
Yes, neighbor. Night, neighbor.
I'm coming to you. This is fantastic drums from one of the finest artists coming out of Africa. Go ahead, Power Man. How you doing, sir? Power up the show for me now. Go ahead.
Yes, neighbor. Good night, neighbor and Miss Caroline.
Uh-huh.
Yes, neighbor. I heard you on previous shows in regarding to our Prime Minister, neighbor, and I would like to lend advice in that regard as well, neighbor. As the one who would really appreciate of the Prime Minister, neighbor.
You are appreciative of him?
Yes, neighbor.
You appreciate the Prime Minister?
Yes, neighbor.
Wow. Uh-huh.
And what is happening, neighbor? I heard on your previous show what how they are attacking the Prime Minister, neighbor, how they are castigating the Prime Minister and lambasting the Prime Minister. But I just want to say, neighbor, that this Prime Minister, neighbor, as I tell you before, I'm a matter of fact, neighbor, when I came on your show, right? And when I use certain words, neighbor, things that are unfolding on a daily basis, the words that I use corroborate what I said, right?
Corroborate?
Yes, sir. Corroborate what I said.
Uh-huh.
I told you on previous occasion, neighbor, that the Prime Minister is beaten by various persons of the society, right? He is beaten by members of the aristocratic society.
Uh-huh.
He is beaten by members of the bourgeois society.
Of the what?
The bourgeois society.
What is that now?
That's the middle class.
Oh, the middle class. Oh, I see. Uh-huh.
Yeah. He is beaten by a member of the proletarian society. That's the working class society.
I see. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And he is beaten by a member of the plebeian society. That's the lower class, neighbor.
Plebeian?
Yeah. So you can see that.
Hold on. So the lower class of people are plebeians?
Yeah, they are plebeians. Yes, sir.
Hold on. Jesus, my Lord. Hi, Nadine. How you doing? Are you in Kitson Town? Hi, Nadine. Very nice. Great to have you, Nadine. So the plebeious people, Power Man, you
Yes,
say
neighbor.
they're plebeious.
Yes, yes.
Now, why are they so plebeious?
A neighbor, remember, you know, if the aristocratic society and the bourgeois society and the proletarian societies, you know, the plebeian people, they are the lower class. So anything that those people said in our neighbor, it's gonna permeate and they're gonna run with it, you know. So I don't expect better from the plebeian society. So there's some of them are, most of them are betting as well.
They're betting on.
Yes, sir.
My goodness.
And neighbor, as I told you before, the prime minister is sagacious, he is conscientious, he is perspicacious, right? And I see value in this man.
You
and
see
I'm
value,
telling,
you see value
I
in
see,
him.
I see value in this man, neighbor. And I can tell, I'm just saying to his detractors, neighbor, the people who are spreading spurious information about this man, right? They should vamos and latibulate.
They should do what?
Vamos and latibulate.
Vamos?
Yeah, they should run away, neighbor, and hide in a corner. So they should vamos and latibulate. Latibulate.
Boy, I tell you, they should latibua, vamos.
They should, so when they run away and hide in a corner, neighbor, we wouldn't hear from them again.
They must go away.
Yes, sir.
So why don't you just tell them to go away more than say they are to vamos?
Neighbor, sometimes you have to use some word and send it out there, make them head make them think, you know, neighbor. They should vamos and latibulate. Yeah.
Well, those of you who are criticizing the Prime Minister, please vamos.
And neighbor, the sagacious Prime Minister have done a lot for Jamaica. He have done a plethora of things for Jamaica.
A plethora, yes.
Yeah, but two things I look on, neighbor. Two things I look on.
Yeah.
When I look on the NIR, right?
Hold on there, man. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, neighbor. When
Yes.
I look at the plethora of things that the Prime Minister has done, neighbor, two things have captivated me, neighbor. When I look at the NIR, neighbor.
Yes.
Right, the NIR, right? I'm not a person that I don't study economy, but what I know about economy, I read about it. And when you have a salubrious NIR, your country can get a lot of credit from abroad and etc. Seems like
Yes,
you want to look at visa, and when you have a lot of money in your account, that's one of the things that qualifies to get your visa. So when you have a salubrious NIR, the country is in good hand, right? And when I look at crime and violence / murder, neighbor, you know, many decades, it is at its nadir now, right?
It's what?
It is at its nadir, at its lowest point, right?
Yes,
Yeah, and when you look at these two things, neighbor, our country can burn, right? The country can burn.
Burgon?
Yeah, expand and grow.
I see. Wow.
Yeah. So
I feel like I would eat a burger.
burn.
I feel like I want a burger. Oh, Jesus.
Oh gosh, I can't believe me. Hi. Boy, I tell you something. This is all very exciting.
Paulette Sweet. Go ahead, Paulette. Paulette, you're on. Paulette, you're on. All right. Call it. We have to move on. Mute Sonia. Ramsey. Hello, Ramsey. Remo Ramsey. Ramsey, good night, sir. Ramsey,
Yes, sir.
top of the night to you. How are you doing?
Well, I'm here just listening in on the program.
Uh-huh.
You know, a lot of things being said about my prime minister, but you know, even this evening I was listening to another program, and
Speak up a
some
little for me.
things. Yeah, I said some things they were saying. I was listening to another program this evening, and some of the things that they were saying, even about this thing with Bojo Banton,
Uh-huh.
and they were blaming Mr. Vaz. Say he didn't say anything. You know what he's saying is lying. Sometimes I just get frustrated with the attitude of these people. What is wrong with them? The election is already gone. The election is gone. So why can't we get on with life?
Yes.
You know, they are still in election mode. I think we should let go of this.
Let go of what?
You know, the electioneering.
Oh, uh-huh. Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Especially now, sir, we're managing a catastrophic hurricane that is devastating our country.
That's what we should be thinking about.
Uh-huh.
That's what we should be dealing with. Stop electioneering now, man. Let's help the people who need to get helped.
Yes. Great.
That's
Very
what we
good.
should be now.
Yes, sir. But as I said earlier, you know, sir, this moment is defining leadership in Jamaica. And not only is Mr. Holness's leadership being defined, but also that of the opposition leader. He is
very well.
Yeah. And I think this moment, sir, calls upon him to show some leadership. And I suspect that he is failing, sir.
He is absent.
He's failing. Yeah. He's failing Jamaica. Is he on the island?
Well, that's a good question to ask.
Uh-huh. Well, I haven't heard from him.
Because he's definitely absent.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a moment that is defining his own leadership without him even knowing. He is the alternative prime minister, sir. And Jamaica is looking to him and to his party for leadership. These are treacherous waters, sir. And all hands are needed on deck. But I will tell you this, sir, that I would advise the government to take their eyes off the opposition now and press on with the work. Press on with the work that they have been elected to do. Don't worry about Mark Gold. But the Jamaica Labour Party need to take them on.
Yeah, they need to
and if they can't take them on, then I'm going to take them on. I'm going to take them on, sir. If the Labour Party refuse to do it, then I'm going to do it. And I will take all of them, and all of them here running up their mouth. I alone can take them on. I can tell you that.
I think you have the ability to.
Oh no, and I don't know if I'm telling you, all of them, sir, in one meeting, I could take them on. And well, I don't even want to get there, but I want the party to do it.
I'm tired of this.
I'm sure Joshua could do it. I'm sure Joshua could do it too. Yes, because sir, there is one bunch of nonsense they're talking, pure foolishness.
No, makes sense.
No make no sense.
The people are they're so dunce.
Who is dunce?
You know, those people talking those things that are
No,
real.
you know, I don't agree that they're dunce, you know, sir. I think they are perpetuating dunceness, but they are not dunce. It's what Casey called intellectually dishonest.
Well, that's a fact, yeah.
They are sensible people, sir. Yeah. It is not about themselves, you know, it's about how they can influence minds to vote for their party.
Whoa, yeah.
You know, it's not about it's very strategic, sir. It's a misinformation has its root in the strategy, you know. So don't think that it is all flat by itself. I'm looking for something here to show you that it may very well be coming from Party Central. May very well be coming from Party Central. You hear me, sir?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
What we are seeing here is not just people getting up and saying things. They probably are given us
Something planned.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
You know, sir, there is an Italian Marxist, a philosopher. His name is Gramsci. And he comes up with a context that is called hegemony. Ever hear about that?
No, I haven't.
Right, it's fine. No problem about that. So it's about cultural and ideological being and maintaining power.
Okay.
The People's National Party has not lost power, you know, sir. They may not be the government, but they still control some of the power dynamics in the country.
Yeah.
And in the context of politics, you see, hegemony refers to the ability of a party to shape the narrative. And this is why I'm trying to get well, I say my, I'm trying to get the Labour Party supporters to understand that hegemony is the ability to shape the movement, the argument on the ground, the narrative. Do you realize, sir, that the thing that people are discussing is not the recovery?
No, they aren't.
Why? Why aren't Jamaicans coming on platforms discussing the relief efforts? Because that, sir, benefits the government.
The government, yeah.
But if we are discussing the other things, you know, missing things, debts, money, all of that, you know, then that is the narrative being controlled. And this is achieved through a combination of coercion, persuasion, and consent. A strong ground game the PNP has. And I think they have made quite a bit of progress, especially using social media.
Yeah. I
Okay.
see. Yeah, understood.
Have a great night, sir.
You too.
All right,
Thanks very
great.
much for listening.
Not a problem. Come on. Good God. I tell you, it's a power pack screen we have here now. Let me go to Joshua, coming to you. Scratchy. Scratchy, he's on a break. He's on a break. Okay. Okay. All right. Until John. Scratchy.
Blessed night, neighbor. Joshua, John Major, Caroline, Harry, and the viewers. Blessed everyone, neighbor.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with you, Scratchy. This concept of hegemony, Scratchy, physiosophical concept that political parties are used to control the narrative on the ground, Scratchy. And at a time like this, Scratchy, when the environment is very fertile for misinformation, where is the Jamaica Labour Party? I'm not speaking about the government. Where is the Jamaica Labour Party?
Neighbor, if you look back in past history, neighbor, this has always been the Labour one of the sore not to say, you know, neighbor, nothing is 100% perfect, neighbor. And as someone who observed the Labour Party, neighbor, as someone who loves the Labour Party and followed the Labour Party over previous election, neighbor, this is where the Labour Party has always fallen short in most cases, neighbor. We have always done well from a governance level, neighbor. But some way, neighbor, along the line, neighbor, the party itself is not holding up that mantle, neighbor. And one of the reasons why I think, neighbor, I think going forward we need to be more strategic, neighbor. From a party standpoint, neighbor. Persons who will give posts like general, secretary, chairman, and certain important roles, neighbor. Those persons should be a part of the executive government. Those persons should be a certain person who can make sure that they can balance things, neighbor. That is what we're missing. Our general secretary, neighbor, is the minister of security, the deputy prime minister. You don't have time right now in a time like this for the party business, neighbor. The chairman is also a minister in the cabinet. So you find, neighbor, that certainly, yes, we know they might have deputies and stuff like that from a different angle, but neighbor, we just have to be more strategic. The party need to be more strategic going forward on the ground level, neighbor. We need to be more strong on the ground. As I said, neighbor, from a governance level, we are doing wonderful, we are doing fine. But on the ground, neighbor, that is where the opposition is gaining a little momentum over us. Yes, some persons are saying, scratchy election just gone and we win. But yeah, neighbor, we know, neighbor, the narrative that is set on the ground going forward into an election, neighbor, is what really set the tone come election day. So if we now combat the narrative from now, and we now try to control the ground from now, neighbor, we're going to have problem come election day. The last election, neighbor, we see the amount of work what this government did. And from a party level, neighbor, the prime minister to be working extra hard, neighbor. Because, neighbor, despite we were doing so good from a party level, from governance level, neighbor, we were missing from the ground from a party level, neighbor. And the prime minister had to come back and make up how much ground it happened to us in the local government election. And the prime minister had to do extra hard work in the general election, neighbor. Extra hard work. The prime minister should never have to be in any constituency, neighbor. 3 o'clock in the morning. It's just because we're lacking on a ground level. There wasn't any groundwork being done in those constituencies. We had to be in there for hours a night. So that, neighbor, I just did a party.
You're a party man. What are the sentiments that are coming in from the ground as to how people are feeling about the government's performance so far, Scratchy? What is being fed into party headquarters?
Our neighbor, persons understand, neighbor, that I sometimes I try to give and take in certain aspects, neighbor. I understand that based on the severity and the condition of a lot of things that is going on, or the government is heavily focused, but and the opposition, neighbor, at the same time we have to understand the opposition don't have the luxury of having any ministerial duties or any governance duties to carry up on a daily basis as the governing party. So sometimes we can see the opposition be more idle and stuff like that. But from a party level, neighbor, I think the party is trying, neighbor, their utmost best, but something is missing, neighbor. Something is missing, and the party just need to re-strategize from a party level. I mean, neighbor, the general election showed them. I think general election showed them, neighbor, that we didn't last this election, neighbor. We won the election, but these 14 constituencies that we lost, neighbor, we didn't lose those 14 constituencies because of a government non-performance, neighbor. We lost those constituencies on a constituency level, neighbor, from a community level, neighbor, lane by lane and street by street. That's how we lost those constituencies. We won from a government level nationally, but from the local level, neighbor, from a party standpoint, we are lacking and we need to re-strategize. We need to look at how we give these persons posts. The general secretary, who is the main man for the political party. The general secretary is the minister of national security. The general secretary is the opposition, is the deputy prime minister, and the general secretary is very busy. You look at the chairman is also very busy. And look at all the rest of roles them. So there's no, says like the party, I don't know, neighbor. Something needs to be done. We have 2 young arms at the party. We have the G2K. And we have the young Jamaica. My problem with these 2 arms of the party, neighbor, I think the G2K, neighbor, they say they brand themselves as a young affiliate. I don't have an issue with that, neighbor. No, but in this election I'm coming forward, neighbor, I think G2K is lacking, neighbor. G2K need to come off of that high arse or that high stance that they are, neighbor. You guys are not politicians. You might be prospective politicians, yes, but you guys are not politicians. This organization, neighbor, they behave like they are politicians. You guys need to come down and do the groundwork, man. You need to do some groundwork. Seriously. I'm not bashing or anything, I just constructive criticism.
I'm going to come back to you on this, Scratchy. I probably need an hour. Mr. Joshua?
Good night to your panelists. Good night to you, sir. Good night to your panelists.
Joshua, I said earlier that as much as this crisis is defining Holness, it is also defining Mark Golding, the alternative prime minister. Joshua, what would you, how would you describe the type of leadership Golding is offering Jamaica at this pivotal moment in our history? Some would even call it a crisis. What type of leadership is the alternative prime minister offering us?
I have 2 words: focused and steady. And the reason I use these 2 words because
You mean Mr. Golding, sir?
no, not Mr. Golding, Holness.
No, man. I'm
Yeah.
asking about
Mark Golding?
Golding, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Disruptive and divisive.
You were quick on the draw. Larry, let me contextualize the question again for you, John. Jamaica, Joshua, is really challenged at this time. We are going through treacherous waters, and we have 2 leaders. I want us to understand that Golding is a leader. He made it clear that 400,000 people voted for him, which means that he has significant support in Jamaica. He has influence. How would you describe how he would have measured up to the task of leadership now, Joshua? And what does it say about his electability to the office of Prime Minister?
There's a difference between leadership and headship. They sometimes cross path, but they are not always one and the same. I believe that Golding is the head of the People's National Party, which is one of the 2 major political parties in Jamaica. As it relates to, by the definition, as per the definition of leadership, I would say he's a colossal failure. He's a failure because as a leader, you should be inspiring not just the party that you lead, but you should be inspiring the nation, not just in terms of gravitating towards you, but about the broader picture, which is really building a nation and encouraging the nation to, because it's politics, that is where I'm coming from, encouraging a nation to be the best that they can be, so that peradventure you become leader of the country. Your job of governance become easier because people have a greater understanding of what is required of leader and leadership. And by extension, they have a greater understanding of how economies work. And so it's not easy to manipulate them, and it makes you explaining certain concepts and precepts to them much easier because of what you have sold them. In this particular case, what the PNP has been focusing on is misleading people and therefore making them, delve deeper into ignorance than they were before.
Do you think that they have the capacity, Joshua, to rise to this occasion and not succumb to the temptation of petty politics? Do you think that they have the capacity to do it?
I believe that any team led by a good leader has the capacity to do so. Let us use the parallel organization, which is the Jamaica Labour Party, who is now the governing party. Under Mr. Siaga's tenureship from 1989 to 2007, they were seen as badly wounded, limping, uncompetitive. Mr. Siaga made a critical decision that behind the scenes, he was going to negotiate with someone who was more electable than himself and who had a message that people would listen to as opposed to listening to him as party leader. As a result of that, come Bruce Golding to the fray 2 years before the general election. Bruce Golding, who was already inspiring people to think differently. And then when he came to the fray, by the time election came around, not only did the Jamaica Labour Party win that election, but people started seeing the Jamaica Labour Party in a different light. And to the extent that people are now, a lot more persons have greater respect for the Jamaica Labour Party then than it did, now than it had then. I believe that, as I said previously, that with the right leader, right, and with that pivot in approach, then they do have the capacity. The question is, do they have the willingness to devolve from gutter politics to something that is more meaningful and more nation building than they have been doing for the longest while?
Do you think, Joshua, that the strategy of the PNP is gaining any traction on the ground? This cacophony of criticism and discontent, is it ringing hollow in the society, or do you think that Jamaicans are warming to them, or are they alienating more people?
Jamaica certainly isn't warming to them. What they're doing,
why is it appearing so popular on the ground? Well, at least on social media. Why is their voice so loud?
All right. So I want to qualify what I just said. Jamaica isn't warming to them. What they are doing is pandering and appealing to the ignorance of others. And this was carefully crafted. This carefully crafted approach, as you rightly stated, in hegemony, that was rooted in communism, has been crafted from the beginning of the party's foray international presence. What do I mean by that? Because when we look at the formation of the People's National Harry, I hear a sound in the background. It's disruptive. All right. So.
And 1 second, Dr. Harry, could you please mute your microphone?
Thank you very much. Now, when you look at the PNP's approach from the very inception, they had an all of society approach. When they started, from the very beginning, they had an all of society approach. What do I mean? They started with the Jamaica Union of Teachers as a sitting member of the People's National Party from the very beginning, right? Now known as the JTA. What does that mean? Because if you capture the minds of your pupil, from the grassroots level, from the educational institution, then they also started with lawyers on their team, right? That is very critical because people have to be represented and to be seen to a certain degree. The lawyers are seen as saviors, so to speak, or repairers of the breach. They had businessmen on their team, architectural draftsmen. When you're building your house, you have to communicate with these persons. And when we look at all the government agency and we listen to what Aluna Ndambi Asamba said, she was very clear that they do have an agenda. When we look at the Ministry of Mobilization that was created by the PNP with DK Duncan heading it, right? So they make sure that every aspect of society, whereas the JLP was formed out of a union, the PNP created unions to do their biddings. And they flew on the back of being there for the poor. Is it true? No, they have never been there for the poor. In fact, at the formation of the People's National Party, the original name that was mooted to name the People's National Party was the Jamaica Labour Party. Many persons don't know that. But they rejected that name and the name that they choose. And the reason they rejected the name, they said that they let the party be seen as one who is just pandering to the laborers. And this is historical fact. Not many persons know that. Why am I going down this lane? Because when you pander to all of society, the civil society, the civil group, the agencies, the unions, teachers, then you basically have people doing your bidding. at all times. And we have noticed that even media now is on board. When we listen to the questions being asked by persons such as Dean Jackson Miller, they're basically echoing almost verbatim in some cases what the PNP is saying, right? Even when it's wrong, right? So it's not that people are warming to them. What they are doing, they're capturing the minds of people, right? And he who controls the narrative controls the people.
Am I not correct, Joshua, that Holness is going to be remembered for this moment? How important do you think this moment is for him as leader of the country, as leader of the Jamaica Labour Party, as Prime Minister of Jamaica? How do you think Jamaica will remember him?
Jamaica will remember not the People's National Party, no. I'm talking history. And not just Jamaica, but internationally, he will be remembered as the leader who dealt with not just the greatest crisis now, but the greatest crisis prior to now that the country has ever seen. So what do I mean? He will be seen as the leader who had to face the greatest crisis the world has ever seen in the form of COVID. And he will be seen as the leader who has faced the greatest crisis the country has ever seen. And on both occasions, not when he could have used politics to his favor, right? And I'm not saying politics is a bad thing, but when he had the opportunity to be purely political, he decided on taking an all-inclusive approach, even when it was not convenient. And that he was also focused in trying to not only rebuild the lives of people, but the international partners, the goodwill that he had formed internationally. He was able to get those persons to buy into the vision of rebuilding Jamaica and thus getting them on board.
All right. No, I asked you one more before I go to Harry, and I asked you to hold on a little bit more. Do you think, Joshua, that the PNP will be judged harshly by the people for how they have responded here? Do you think that the section of Jamaica that is non-political will look on and say, you did not stand up for Jamaica when Jamaica needed you most, and therefore we will not repose trust and confidence in you? Is the PNP not risking becoming not a part of the new Jamaica that obviously is going to emerge from this?
Not only are they risking it, they will inadvertently not become a part of the new Jamaica. They may end up forming government. Don't get me wrong. But in terms of historically, it will not be kind to them.
Uh-huh.
These are not the years when we didn't have social media and
Right.
access to
Right. In other words, Joshua, there is a new politics emerging. The old politics is dying.
Yeah. Yes, sir. The old politics is dying. And in addition to that, with the world in and of itself becoming harder, right? And gone are the days when people were in ignorance. I'm not just talking in their brains, but I'm talking about the access to information is at your fingertips if you choose to. So whilst the gleaner, and I will be very forthright, is aiding them and its team down at North Street, aiding them and be able to help them to control the narrative now to a certain degree. Historically and internationally, when you are able to tap into the information that is available elsewhere, because one of the things I've noticed that since this hurricane, not only is the local media not carrying the good work of the government as much as they should, but the international media is busy highlighting what is being done in Jamaica. So when the local media, to a larger extent, tends to want to keep that information covered for the students of history who would have been raised during this period, another 10, 15 years from now, when they're doing their research and presenting their research papers, the history will point to a government that, despite the onslaught from the opposition through propaganda and lies, they not only weathered the storm, but they rebuilded Jamaica, not just economically, but intellectually, because I have noticed that Mr. Holness, no matter what is happening, he stays on message in ensuring that he doesn't deviate and devolve into the folly that is being perpetuated. Right?
Fantastic. Hold on for me, Joshua. Harry?
Right, Neighbour.
I'd love to hear your view, Harry, in terms of how you think the PNP is writing history, even as we speak. What are the messages that are to be learned from their behavior? I mean, we see the leader of opposition, for example, asking for a committee. The government goes to parliament. Their leader of government business writes to the opposition, speaking about the committee. The opposition comes back to parliament, writes back to Green saying there are some concern, and then they basically pull out. It is being whispered in some quarters, Harry, that Golden's leadership is not shining. How do you think he is writing history at this moment when Jamaica needs him? Where is he?
Well, to start, Neighbour, as I say, history, Jamaica needs him, and we can't find him. He's moving like an avatar, you know. If anybody watches Avatar Aang, he disappeared for 100 years. Currently, since Melissa, 2 weeks, we haven't had an opposition leader that stands for the people. What we have is a person who is confused and, I'd want to say, surprised by what new leadership demands. So he's technically out of his depth, Neighbour. You know, they say you can teach old dogs new tricks. I think he's so much backward in terms of set in his ways of what he came up in politics with, right? That he lacks the ability to adapt to what the situation requires. And if you remember when I said the situation will determine how any administration and any leader turns up for this nation. And right now, Neighbour, is only one person turning up, only one administration turning up. Not that they do have a choice right now, because they are the only persons, the only administration that is fit. So in terms of history for the opposition and for Mark Golding, Neighbour, I think he's going to be remembered as one that is out of his depth, that he's inept, unequipped, and also confused, because you can't be asking for something to help the nation, to be a part of, and then a few hours later, a few days later, you're backing out. That shows that you don't know what you're doing, Neighbour.
All right. Harry, you are a very young man, and at best, I don't think you could be described as partisan. What would you expect from an opposition leader as a young Jamaican man, a professional? How would you expect an opposition leader to behave at a time like this in the nation, when the nation is really and in a crisis? How would you expect your opposition leader to behave?
Well, for one, Neighbour, they have to be the persons who step up to help, because I don't see that happening in its entirety. And what help means is to put aside party colors and put the country first. I've not seen the opposition put Jamaica first just yet. I think putting Jamaica first.
Sorry. So Harry, I ask you this question because, and I want you to be very objective. You are saying to me that you have not seen the opposition step up yet,
Not yet. All I'm saying, neighbor, is trying to put a front for the party rather than for leadership, rather for the nation, rather than for our people. And funny enough, neighbor, it is called the People's National Party.
Yes.
But we don't see any of that. What we're seeing is performing no poorly.
Performing now poorly, sir?
Yes, neighbor. Because
yeah, but what would you expect? Tell me if you, for example, were opposition leader, how would you respond at this time?
Well, definitely for one, neighbor, I'll have to be on that board, right? That committee, because I need to also be in the know of what the current administration is doing. I want to know how I can be of service to my people, and that means working with the current government, neighbor, because I also shape the government, right? In places and areas that the government have maybe lacked, and I have people with expertise, I put them there, neighbor, because we always know two heads are better than one. So you have to step up to the plate. I expect to see a unified front, even if you have to fake it, neighbor. You maybe not, for example, you and me, you maybe not like me not like you, but we know that we want the same end result, unless, neighbor, in this case, we don't. And that's what I'm getting from the opposition, which is sad, because they still have what, almost 400,000 people who voted for them, neighbor. So are they saying they're not putting those people forward either? Are those people not Jamaicans?
Yes. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not laughing at you. Hold on. I just got a joke.
So it is that aspect, because even if you're putting party first, right? Because that's what the current opposition is doing. Then you're telling me that only who is in parliament, who is in direct head of the party counts? The plebs, as we'll call them in Jamaican terms, don't count? The indifferent people who voted for you, they make up Jamaica, neighbor. So you have to put your differences aside. That's the first thing, every leader know how to fake it. Because you're going to be in and around people you may not have the same ideology or agree with the same perspective. But you have to know when to agree, to disagree, and when to concede, neighbor. And they've done none of that. They've been headstrong, wrong and strong.
All right. In the circle that you move, Harry, in the professional circle that you move, is your view, are your views correct? Is that what people are saying? That's what you hear?
Well, for my circle, neighbor, in terms of immediate, you have persons who currently know, realize whether they voted or not, realize that they have to take part in where this country goes now, because they're not getting the sense of leadership that they want, especially those who may not have partake in the voting process, right? So they're not seeing enough from the opposition to even consider them as a good alternative. Now, the difference for me as well is that when there are differing views, you have persons who support the opposition and so on. When I step in that room and they have incorrect information, all of that changes, because by the time I leave that room, we may not see eye to eye, but on the issue, we're leaving that room with the right information.
If I were opposition leader, Henrique, I would say to my team, even if we have to lose the next election, Jamaica must come first. I'm telling you. Yeah. Because at this time, Harry, this is what defines a leader. It's about the character of the person. Your country needs you. You step up to the plate, Harry.
Right. And you remember, neighbor, when I said Marky G may not last 3 years as the head of the People's National Party.
Uh-huh.
Well, I can tell you, I saw an image and I got information where that same fellow, that same little Rasta fellow, is doing what Marky G should be doing, because he went in his constituency at Northwest and he's working with the outgoing candidate for the Jamaica Labour Party and workers of the Jamaica Labour Party to serve that constituency. But I don't even see Marky G trying that. And this is why I said his leadership, his position and status in the party will be challenged by that individual.
Yes. No, do you think, Harry, that the preponderance of social media misinformation, disrespect, do you think it is organized, or do you think it's simply organic?
It is definitely organized, Neighbour, because...
Hold on. You think it is organized, sir?
It is, right? Because it is not something... First of all, you have to have a source for immediate information, right? Because what we've seen on social media is that whenever there's any major issue or any stance by the opposition, within minutes, we see it on social media. Now, if you don't have a direct source, Neighbour, you cannot put it out that quickly. So it has to be coming from there. And then it is being done in a way where, of course, the party can deny anything that is being said. It's no views of theirs. But you also know, underhandly, in the back end, you sent out your little minions to do your job. And this is something where I think for the Jamaica Labour Party, you asked where they are. We're seeing the government, but we're not seeing Jamaica Labour Party. And I think we haven't seen them because of how they have governed and how they have structured themselves for a few decades now, right? In fact, the Young Jamaica and G2K, I think, has fallen off, specifically because I think the strongest of leaders then, where you had the Warren Newby, the Matty Samuda coming up, Steve Wright, they were faced with a strong People's National Party, a strong PNPYO, and they had to now step up to the plate stronger. What the situation I'm seeing now, specifically, Neighbour, reminds me of Moses, the Israelites versus the Amalekites, right? Where Moses' hands got tired, and every time his hand went down, they started to lose the fight. That's what is happening right now with the misinformation. And I think, and the beauty about it is that it's actually two persons who held his hand up to, Neighbour. And Jamaica Labour Party has two, right? So the G2K could be Aaron, and the Young Jamaica be her. So they need to hold up Mr. Holness' hand. They need to hold up the party no more than ever, because they are equipped in this generation to take down, to remove, and to correct anything that's coming up, because they're also of this age, Neighbour. We can't expect who is running the country to be running the country and looking back and trying to figure out. No, especially in a time like this, you don't have the time and space to do that, because you are now looking to ensure the safety of your people, how you're going forward, stand for accountability, and also you're back off a broad to take the leak. But guess what? No defensive system also attacks. You have to have your attack different from your defense. And I think they are getting that wrong as a party right now. And it's about time they hit the ground running, because you don't need G2K and Young Jamaica to be a part of governing the country. You need them to get your information, get your achievements, your performance, spread the right information out there to ensure that while you're looking good on main media, they're also ensuring the right information is out there in the disruptive era, which is social media.
Fantastic. Hold on there for me, Harry, brother. But I tell you, only Joshua betters you. You have a fine mind. And not to mention Scratchy. Protecting Jamaica.
Good evening, Neighbour. Good evening, panelists. Good evening, those who are listening.
Good evening, sir. Protecting Jamaica. I have not heard from you since the storm has hit Jamaica. Protecting Jamaica, how are we doing in terms of our response? Let me start with that. How are we doing?
Considering Katrina passed through the southern belt of the United States in 2005, and at this moment, they have not yet even fully recovered. And this is a first world country, the leader of the free world, and they cannot recover. In 14 days, we're almost 80% restored in electricity, and telecommunications somewhere around about 65-70% thereabout. Considering all things, a category 5 hurricane, we're doing well, neighbor. I mean, there are people who are suffering. Forgive me, because an emergency vehicle is passing by me now. There are people who are still suffering. People lost their roofs, and there are some people who have lost their entire house, and the living conditions are heart-wrenching in some parts of the western section of the island. But considering all of that, we have done pretty well. There are many areas which have now been cleaned and are now being fully assessed for the rollout of recovery. Again, I've heard Harry said it a few nights back, because I've been listening but not in a position to participate sometimes, that you cannot plan for a category 5. I've heard Joshua said it too. You can't. How do you, tell me something, do you walk out, put on your shirt and your tie one morning, and you walk out with a plan for your car lick you? You just can't. You don't know which tree are going to blow down. You don't know which house top are going to blow off. You just can't. So considering all of that, even to the extent where we have lost 45 lives so far, it's confirmed. God bless those lovely souls. And considering in the middle of that impending disaster, the stupidity that was swirling throughout the society, where our people preferred to listen to a madman who looked through a crystal ball, and not the government who is giving valid, credible information. Neighbor, to this point, we're doing okay.
Very good. Now, as the government focuses on the restoration of the country, the delivering of aid, the PNP, they have been busy doing politics as they usually do. Protecting Jamaica, I am concerned though that they have been allowed to get away with it. At what point is the country, the Labour Party, going to begin to push back and push back in a way that is strategic, informed, and allow people to see what is happening here?
And this is the question why I requested to come up and join the conversation, neighbor. Because as you heard just now, I'm on the road and I'm busy. This is the very reason why I requested to join the conversation. Neighbor, if you remember, from way out, even before election was announced, I was the only voice in the wilderness bawling out for the Jamaica Labour Party to establish a sensible communication network.
Not the government, JIS, not the government apparatus, not the information minister.
The Jamaica Labour Party. Because guess what? The foundation common sense principle of politics is, it is politics that makes government. No democracy works anywhere in the world without politics. And even after a government is selected by the people, it is the politics that maintains that government.
So you are saying, I don't want to cut you, you are saying that the Jamaica Labour Party need to establish a body, a communication machinery that responds, that is actively involved in promoting the message of the party and of the government. So you're saying?
Let me share something with you, neighbor, because the election gone now and we are going to start preparing now for the next 5 years. I shared something with the Prime Minister months before the election. I think it was in 2024 I started sharing with him, but I shared something with him up until early 2025. That because of what was happening out there, and I spent a great deal of time. I found the time and I spent a great deal of time to pay attention to what was happening on the ground, especially in the social space. It took me a bit because I'm not that kind of person. I don't even have a personal social media account. You know, I just came on these spaces because of what I saw was happening. And I shared with the Prime Minister that after a research and a sounding on the ground, it makes sense to establish a 12-person team from Party Central. One set of people, they can dissect it how they choose. One set of people to do research, one set of people to pay attention to what the opposition is doing and saying and what their counterparts are out there perpetuating, and another set to prepare the information and contents of all different levels, including graphics, images, and all that. And another, maybe 2 or so person out of the 1 dozen to publish, to control all the platforms and publish. And I shared that a few times, explaining how that would make sense using different experiences, different angles. And you know what? It fell on deaf ears. And I wonder if the party realized, neighbor, that the same strategy that the party used in 2016 or leading up to 2016 to control the space and win the heart of the people, the PMP has now perfected it. I wonder if the party realize what's happening. This is no baby matter, you know. A serious matter, you know. The PMP was on the back foot in 2016, but they have now realized that the real battle for the minds is on TikTok. Even the 88-year-old, 89-year-old granny, they're on TikTok.
Yes.
And if you are not paying attention, all right, what is going to happen in 2030, neighbor? Andrew Holness will be 58 years old in 2030. Hello. You see, when you reach an age, when you can night Joe catch you, you know, every minute you're sick, you know. You think Andrew Holness will be able to keep up at 58 years old, coming out 6 o'clock in the morning and dip on road before day till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning again? It won't work. The strategy has to be different. But guess what? Don't wait again until 18 days before an election to start hit the ground. It will be too late. The fourth term can work in a neighbor, but the fourth term requires them to realize politically what is happening on the ground. Before the hurricane reached Jamaica, I said to the people on my YouTube channel and on TikTok, I know what the PMP is going to come with, and they're going to come and say, don't put politics in this, because their intention is to politicize it. Mark Golden is going to be missing because he wasn't in Jamaica when hurricane blow, but him going to come back and walk around like he was here. And I also said, them only are going to test the waters with a few parts of the messaging that them already cook up and give to their vloggers and bloggers all throughout Canada, America, England, and Jamaica. And what they're going to do is they're going to work the strategy and milk it till they get everything out of it. I said that even before the hurricane reached off the coast of wherever.
Yeah.
And so said, so done.
No, protecting. What is to happen now? Because I can tell you, the trolling, the misinformation is increasing every single day.
Yes.
And you see it. Now, I made a comment last night, protecting, that if we don't have a conversation on this as a nation, we are going to have our democracy is going to, the social order in Jamaica is going to be threatened. Protecting Jamaica, what is the party to do at this time?
Neighbor,
How are they to respond?
The greater risk, neighbor, the greater risk, because you see, democracies are really flawed, you know, but they do work because they are competitive. The greater risk is to allow one side of the conversation to continue, which is what happened the last time around. The last time, the PMP were allowed for 4 years to control the narrative, spread the narrative, and it sunk in. And then now it became too much a struggle by the time they came late in the game to be pulling it back.
Yes.
Now, if the greater risk is to allow the one side of the narrative to remain without another side of whichever story it is, which means that the party at some point needs to join the conversation as the party, not the government.
Why are they not? I am not speaking about the government. Would you define?
They have never seen the value. They have, since Bustamante and Shearer and Siaga, well, the first part of Siaga's time, they have failed to see the value in groundwork. Because Bustamante was a professor. He was a genius. Remember, Buster was in the street being beaten by even police, locked up in a jail in a neighbor. The Jamaican people, we're a special people, you know. We have the kind of thing that way. I think there are scientists in Jamaica now trying to study the Jamaican people and the gene. We come from a special tribe somewhere in Africa. The Jamaican people don't just want to hear you put a narrative on the ground. The narrative must contain messaging that tells them that you're fighting for them. Notice how the PMP message to the people is like a them a fight for you, and the JLP now fight for you. The Jamaican people wanted to see
a specific question. Let's take, for example, the Prime Minister and the generators. So the PM says, we loan the generators out. I haven't heard the Jamaica Labour Party come out and provide an explanation of what the Prime Minister means, how, and explain. I haven't heard that protecting. Why?
Again, the Jamaica Labour Party has moved away from politics since Bustamante. The Jamaica Labour Party, you know, they knows how to campaign. The Jamaica Labour Party can campaign, especially with Andrew Holness now. They do very well at campaigning. But politics is not campaigning, neighbor. Politics is strategy. It's different from campaigning. Campaigning is being on the road, loudspeaker, make up all up nice, and you meet two people, you take up two baby. That's campaigning. Politics is messaging and strategy. Now, if politics is messaging and strategy, neighbor, it means that you can't come late in the game with a strategy or some message. It has to be from early in the game. It has to be continuous. It has to be a message that is developed over time, leading somewhere. And that is where the Jamaica Labour Party dropped the ball. That is where they are lost in the game. So they always wait on the election period to come around to campaign. But the PMP, right throughout the term, they politic, which is to sit down, strategize how you're going to tackle these issues, why you need to tackle these issues, what you want the people to understand by you tackling these issues. And the outcome is always going to be the people must see and feel that you are fighting for them. And it bad. I don't know why the Jamaica Labour Party thinks having Mal and Morgan show up on radio every now and again and say 2 words, and the Prime Minister making some public speeches, will make a difference. The fourth term is going to be harder. It is very possible, you know, it is within the grasp of the Jamaica Labour Party. They have literally 5 years. Andrew Holness can come out of this recovery as an hero, a national hero.
I think so,
But
yes.
where is the message? Where is the cover? The party needs to cover the government.
Correct.
Where is the party? The party lock up the gate lock, the front door lock, and dog hands are going to yam down when them feel for yam down till election time come round again. I wonder why it is them not open them ears and listen and open them ear and say, yes, the politics is changing, it's becoming purer, and the old time gutter politics, the PNP all on pan it. You don't have a gutter, but you need to message. You
Yes.
need to communicate.
Yes. Uh-huh. You're quite correct. If I should go back to Scratchy. Scratchy,
Yes, neighbor.
don't want to sound like we're knocking the party here tonight, Scratchy, but I must tell you that the narrative now is not being controlled on the ground by the party, and it concerns me, Scratchy. I think Protecting Jamaica is making a strong point that it's time for the doors of Belmont Road to be reopened.
I mean, neighbor, as I said, neighbor, for me, I think what is missing from the party, neighbor, is not neighbor any form of formality. It's not any form of informality neither. I don't mean anything against the line of criminality. But what is missing in the Jamaica Labour Party right now, neighbor, is the semi-informality side of things. When you look at the persons on social media who are spreading these misinformation against the government, neighbor, a person who these common people can also relate with, because I'm a common person, no matter which executive, not the formal sector of the government, neighbor, with them degree in them linguistic language or whatever you call it, come out and reply to these persons. It's not going nowhere.
Uh-huh.
It's not going nowhere. Them still spread the misinformation because what? No formality, the semi-formality we talk about, neighbor, is the ability, neighbor, where ground politics is needed. When I say ground politics, neighbor, things where I mean the formal minister can't say directly tell us if we do that. But when you are about to do it, you know, break the law or nothing, because the constitutional law give everybody the legal right to the assembly. If you can organize 300 people and you go say you have like a peaceful demonstration and say, we're rebut against what we see going on social media. One person knows say you don't like the disrespect we come toward the Prime Minister. And them type of things they are missing from the party, neighbor. So the people have a basic understanding of what going on with everything. But that is where it is missing, neighbor. Those type of things are missing. We are not making any presence. And the presence we needed, neighbor, cannot directly come in a sense of formal way that we are going to talk.
Scratchy, just the strength where you just say activism. The party lose its sense of
perfectly. Yes, you correct it perfectly. You correct it perfectly. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Activism. That is what the party lacking right now, neighbor. There's no there's no strong political activists again, neighbor. People they make a suggestion and brand West Kingston about mother for garrison. You know. It's the wrong thing them say. West Kingston is the most organized garrison in Jamaica, the most organized constituency in Jamaica, Western Kingston. That's why SLM can always come out so strong, neighbor, because they're organized. And any sector we want to think of, them organized. Them stand firm. They know how to put up resistance. They know how to reject people who go against them party and them government. Yeah, but we don't know more activists. Long-time activists, them get up in a age and want to seniors.
But
Me there, so I'm not too old neither, but too long me this we feel like I'm a senior now, neighbor. The young people, activists not there, neighbor. We don't have no activists again. That is what the party missing right now. The PNP roll out the whole of them political activists were in an election, neighbor. Some of them never yet it on camera now. I start to regular on camera. One time I never know me that ever see picture of them man. Them man them start seeing, neighbor. So I realize that activism, that's what the Labour Party is missing. There's no activism. You don't have to be a criminal to be an activist, you know. You don't have to be a criminal to be an activist. We need activism, neighbor, and that is where the Labour Party is failing, neighbor. The people know the information and know what going on. Yes, neighbor, no matter what somebody come out, but look on the type of people from the PNP side, no matter where them come out and say, neighbor, about the government, a man in a suit could have come out and reply that fly over for them head. It's still a English out there. Because at the activist side now, they want to hear back from the Jamaica Labour Party. You in a your suit, you go talk to Peter Bunting. A man who then say in semi-formal sector, you go talk to Mama San.
Mama San.
That's right there.
Oh.
We don't have no activist neighbor. Our labor, most of them labor people are kind of afraid of me, you know, but we don't have no activist neighbor. That's what we are lose right now. And tell the neighbor, it's things that need to be done are things that cannot be done in a formal way. It cannot be done in a written letter to go and do this or go and do that. Are things where we say we love our party and we love our claim, so we love our prime minister. How we have to put up the rebuttal neighbor? We have to put up the rebuttal neighbor. Persons if we can organize and say 400 that we are going to go protest today and we are going to be peaceful because the law give the constitutional law give the right to peaceful assembly. So we can protest peacefully. A media house have to come. And then we explain ourselves, so we don't like what is going on against the Prime Minister. Put it out there. If you think we come one time on the media, that's good. Because a lot of people still work with traditional media, neighbor. A lot of people still believe in the traditional media, even though we think so right.
And then it is shared all over because
and then it's shared all over, neighbor. It is shared all over them things that we have to do, neighbor. We don't have no political activists no more, neighbor. We don't have any no more, neighbor, and that is what PNP are used on the ground and a kill way. Even though the message might be coming from a type of source from the headquarters and them leadership, yes, but it not be done in a formal way where we can say, yeah, him a tell him to do this or only can speculate, but also things are done. And based on what is being done, neighbor, it look organized, neighbor, it look orchestrated, neighbor, it look planned, neighbor, and it look funded.
Yes.
But Scratchy, the Jamaica Labour Party still have the perfect model, sadly, that he might be going out shortly. Because if we look at Member Parliament Warmington, how his people defend him to the depths. It is a testament to how he has, I want to use the word, govern and lead his constituency, because that man is there every Thursday, like clockwork. Unless something is extremely important, you can't get him away from your constituency. And God forbid, every Sunday they want to run bar, attack to him, people him dead, and will lose that groundwork that the Labour Party was built on. And it's sad to say that it might be something that he is the last of his kind with, but it's something that the party has to go back to, because we've lost the grassroots.
Let me go back to you, coming back to you perfectly. Joshua?
Yes, sir.
Joshua, the art of politics is the delicate balance between governing and party politics. Isn't it true, Joshua, that if you don't pay a lot of attention to the politics on the ground, then governing becomes difficult?
Very true, sir. It doesn't get more pointed than that. I've listened to your panelists, and there's very little that I could add to what they have said. However, one of the words that comes to mind as it relates to the JLP's approach, and this is not a new thing, except when Bruce Golding was there, and is that our approach to politicking has been very disjointed at best. What do I mean by that? Because when Bruce Golding was there, because we were out in the wilderness so long, then G2K was formed. No, G2K was formed. The young professional arm of the JLP was also formed. And because they were fighting for their life, then they had to be very active. In addition to that, Bruce Golding utilized a mechanism that was developed by Mr. Siaga, the 1 in 20 and all of these things. And he kept it working throughout, even after election, right? Now, what the Jamaica Labour Party has resorted to is to try to rely upon its good governance so that people may be endeared to it. And to a lesser degree, it has worked. What they have not done, which they should have done, and I think protecting J.A., Scratchy, and Harry has articulated it so fine that I almost run the risk of being repetitive. What they have fallen short on is that cohesive war room style politics. What do I mean? Because first of all, if JLP is going to be effective, they have to create a war room. What is that war room? It is a place where you bring the best of minds within the JLP and also the surrogates of the JLP and well-wishers of the JLP to say, hey, we need to ensure that all that we're doing is in the minds of people, all of the good work. And people also understand that we are the best option for the country at all times, and it must be constantly held in the minds of the people. In addition to that, when the propaganda machinery comes out, you must have a segment of that team within the war room whose responsibility, their sole responsibility at all times, is to scope the internet and scout the internet. And when they see it, they don't give it a day to pass. I remember hearing you, Neighbour, about when you just came out to say that it must not go 24 hours.
The news cycle mustn't pass up.
The news cycle must not pass. I remember you saying that when you just came on the scene, that the news cycle must not pass without it being dealt with forthwith.
Yes.
And this is the approach that needs to be taken. As soon as it lands, in fact, don't even give it land. As soon as it's coming down to taxi, you cut off the wheels immediately so that the plane crash, right? And this is the approach that needs to be taken. So you simultaneously attack the propaganda as they come out. You approach it with pure facts, and also you beat it back for what it's worth and to let people understand exactly where it's coming from. You have a group that is solely the brains behind the mechanism. So their job is to put together what is it that we're going to be attacking, what is it that we're going to be dealing with, how we're going to be dealing with, and who gets the information, right? You have to be strategic in that regard, right? And the PNP, what they have done every single week, they determine exactly what their talking points will be. I won't tell you how I get my information, but they have a team. Pardon me?
Is that really so, Joshua?
Of course, it is true. Every single week, both formally and informally, they have a group. I hear somebody say something.
No, me just back you up, Joshua. Yes, it's true. I know that.
Yes. Both formally and informally, they have a team that determines what the talking points will be. Should we continue with this argument or do we drop it? Who gets the information, right? And they attack it from that perspective, right? And if they slip up here and there, then they pull back to the drawing board. The following day, they don't even wait. The following day, I say, hey, we need to tweak it here, right? So it is a, and then in addition to that, they have their international donors. Yes, people who are in the underworld. Yes, people who are in the underworld, such as the person who funded Zulika just the other day. I will give you more information as time progresses on that. Yes, the person who funded Zulika Jesse's campaign is someone from the underworld, right? Who fund them. And that is why you see so much person entering the political fray and speaking against the government, because they are being funded. And they make sure, one of the things that the PNP used to do in the past, I don't know to what extent they still do it. I know they still do it, but to the extent I'll touch base with my sources so that I can get more information. That what they used to do, they used to get visas for their surrogates here and plant them overseas to carry their narrative and reach into the ears of the diaspora.
This is a massive movement, Joshua.
Yes.
Joshua, it still continues to today's day.
What you said, Harry?
I said the last part of what you said still continues to today's day.
See, I know it continues, but to what extent? I'm not sure right now, but my sources, I still have them, so I can touch base with my sources and get more information. Or we could coordinate. People like us who know these things, so when I use the term disjointed, whilst you have the social media presence, who has sources and who have the knowledge, who are also patriotic, who decide, hey, we're going to push back against it. And the JLP, who, when when it hurts too much, every now and then may come out and push back. What you don't find is that hand in hand, all on board approach that is needed to say, hey, the patriotic Jamaicans who also have the knowledge and the history, you know, and the sources, we also need to hold hands with them, even though they may not be formally part of the structure. But we also need to hold hands with them to ensure that we have an all-encompassing attack against all of these things and to promote the achievement. So you attack the propaganda, but you also promote the achievement of the party simultaneously. And you also make sure that you have your people within the right places. Finally,
Yes.
one other thing I'd observed, you remember when the Prime Minister Andrew Holness just came out? And when he just came out, he was the darling of the media, to the extent that Peter Phillips at one point in time lamented that he had the media on his side.
Yes.
The PNP shortly thereafter held a media party. I don't know if you all remember that. They held a media party, and in less than 4 months after that, all of media was on PNP side. You think that's by chance? It's not by chance. It was strategic, that media party. It was being led partially by Philip Paulwell, that media party, in terms of the organization of it. Right? And that is one of the things that the PNP has always managed to do, is to keep the voices that matters within society on their side. Do they do it honestly? Not always. In fact, most of the time, they have not done it honestly. Right? What we need to understand as Jamaicans, and by extension, the Jamaica Labour Party, not the government, so to speak, the Jamaica Labour Party, the ruling party, need to understand that the PNP, and I say this without apology, is a mafia organization parading as a political party, and not the other way around.
They're a mafia organization?
Yes.
Wow.
They're a mafia organization parading as a political party, and not the other way around. And I say it without apology. And you can probably ask the other members of the panelists, if they're bold enough to speak their mind, what they think. The other panelists.
Protecting?
When you say Joshua bold,
That one bold you.
oh, no, but I mean, the problem in our country, in a neighbor, myself and Joshua and a few other people knows what's happening, you know. The problem is that too many people
And there's
don't
so
know
much, and there's so much you can't even say.
Neighbor, there's so much I've done for the PMP, and there's so much that the PMP has done that cannot be said. And if the people of Jamaica were to only know who the PMP really are, as Joshua said, they're a mafia organization parading as a political party. I mean, the PMP used to take out hits on people. Mike Henry is now about to leave us whenever he so chooses to go, with a bullet in his hip that was given to him by the PMP. A lot of people wonder why, when it comes on to the PMP, Everett Warmington is so bitter. There was a hit that was taken out on Everett Warmington in 1976, and the person who was driving him was killed.
Coming back. Give me a break.
Okay.
Give me a break. Amazing story that is being told here tonight. We have another 20 minutes, and I'd love the guys to wrap up. I'd like to give my callers a little bit more time to hear from a couple of others. Protecting Jamaica, here's how I'd like you to end. What now? What now are you recommending to the party as you go tonight? And you see what is happening in Jamaica, especially since the storm Melissa are protecting Jamaica. Once again, the Labour Party is been back in a corner on the ground. How are you going to emerge out of this?
I want the Prime Minister, as the leader of the party, to understand that though he might have a strategy, one strategy cannot wrestle with the PMP. The PMP is such an organization that has its fangs right throughout society. You can't just use one strategy to fight them. You can't push back on the PMP with just one strategy. No, the Prime Minister has been doing well so far in the Neighbour. And his best weapon is silence. You know, he's not very vocal in too many things, and when he speaks, it makes sense, which is good. But as I've been calling for the past 2 weeks, the government will need air cover. I'm a wartime man. I know warfare. I've been in warfare. And when you have your troops on the ground, the boots you have on the ground sometimes are going to come up on a pushback as they advance. And sometimes the only thing to clear that blockade up ahead is air cover. You need air cover. And the government will have to stay focused in trying to get this recovery done. But the party needs to establish a strategy to
when
provide.
When you say air cover, you're talking about being on air, online, in media.
Yes, so in this regard, as I'm using the example of an army in battle. So now air cover is literally online, on air, because that's where the rail.
So on the ground and in the air.
On the ground, and we need to remain on air. Those who, because one of the next thing, the PMP are not ashamed to pay vloggers and bloggers, The difference, why the PMP is not more effective in a Neighbour. The people they're paying to propagate their side of whatever story, they are dunces. If these people were bright people, the JLP would be in trouble, even leading up to the last election,
What are you saying to me?
Yes, the JLP would have been in big trouble if the people that the PMP had fighting the online battle were bright people. They're dunces. If they were any brighter, I don't know what would have happened September 3.
What are you saying to me?
And we have, again, Neighbour.
The people who are perpetuating and propagating the PNP's message, you're saying had they greater intellectual capacity, it would have been trouble.
The JLP would have probably lost September 3rd. It is because, look, the JLP is in a good position politically in a Neighbour, but they cannot politic. Because all the JLP need, is that army of people to provide digital cover, as I suggested before.
Yes.
And all you need to do, like the PMP does every week, give them the message that you want them to carry for the week. And the JLP have the black people on them side to carry that message.
That's the party.
Yeah, the party. And the people that the JLP has supporting them. You don't need to coach them, no special coach. All you need to do is to give everybody the message. You will carry it on whichever point you want to focus on. The Munchi B will carry it how she want to carry it. I will carry it, and Joshua will always be there. Mr. Vegas will be there, and the others, the Black King Live, Kizzy, all these people. But the message must be one. And at the end of the day, I don't need to use the same word you use. But my beginning and conclusion need to be on the same message. What the party has done since 2011 or 2016 is trying to control how it communicates. You don't need to do that when you have facts on your side. You just need to find the people who are bright enough, give them the message and let them carry it, because everybody have a mind.
But then protecting Jamaica. You don't think that the party must understand this by now?
I think the party understand it, but I think the party is playing it too safe. When, again, I know warfare, neighbor. When you go up on the battlefield, if you're too careful, you're going to end up lose. You have to go out there to fight.
Aggressive. Yes.
Yes, you have to fight. You have to be prepared to push back. Yes, you're going to have an easy day. But you have to be prepared to push back because as I said to you before, one of the problems that exists now is the PMP, they are out there every day and they are constantly propagating. When you allow the news cycle, as you put it, neighbor, do you remember back in the day when the news cycle used to be 24, 48, even 72 hours on a story?
Yes,
the news cycle is now 1 hour.
Yes.
1 hour the news cycle now.
Absolutely.
So when you allow the news cycle to pass, when you allow one news cycle to drop without countering something,
you better know that
you're putting your own interest at risk.
You better know that, sir. You are absolutely correct, sir. You are. In other words, what you have done is to leave in the minds of the people a news story that is unresolved.
Unresolved, and oftentimes the old school of thumb that says anything that is unresponded to, you know, and then when you again, I remember you gave me a great deal of time on your program once when I was saying to you that the PMP, I know this for a fact, they employ psychologists to help them in their strategies. People who understand how the mind work. So when it be business psychologists and all them people who will put ads together and all that, because guess what? Messaging attacks the mind, and then the mind accepting it now sends it over to the emotion, and then the emotion tell you how to feel or how to think on a particular issue. I don't know if the Jamaica Labour Party understand how important this is to politics. This is one of the most important things in democracies. Because if you cannot reach the mind, even though you might acknowledge that it is a battle for the mind, if you don't have somebody who understands the mind, coaching you and telling you how to attack the mind. Okay, Christopher Tufton is a good marketer. He's a minister.
Can't talk. Can't say some of the things.
He can't go to Belmont Road when crisis now and the hospital them a leak and they tap them blow off. You need a team of people who understand how this thing works at Belmont Road. Party Central need for open. The gate need for open. The door them need for open. People need to go to work.
Yes.
People need to go to work. Neighbor, I am out here. Just one more second there. Let me close out. Me the out here. I'm a hard-working fella. I work at least 16 hours a day. I find time in between. Lord God, sometimes I stress out, hey Google, so till, hey Google, I research all day. Thank you, Google. But you see, when you have somebody like myself who don't have the time to dedicate to real in-depth research, unless me I go cut out the time out of my busy schedule. When I chip in every now and again with some information, by that 3, 4, 5, 10 news cycles pass already, I'm so like a fool.
You're absolutely correct, sir.
You need a dedicated team from Party Central to do this. Neighbor, you're doing a good job, but neighbor, I know you have other stuff doing. You know, have all the time.
You better know that. See, them press me around. I only have 11 minutes left on, and then there are some people waiting on me to come off to come on. You know that, sir. The PNP is setting up people around me.
Well, so Chuck jump in there. I know he might have something important to say. You can shoot me out and say foresight down in the chat. The neighbor, me I go and listen, but you can flick me out of the box, you know. But people,
come back.
We have to keep up the conversation. And neighbor, you're doing a good job. Bless upon yourself, Harry. Everybody, Scratchy. Good night.
Protection, before you go, I have a question.
Yes.
Are you suggesting that performance does not win election in Jamaica?
In democracies, performance does not win election. Election is like a party. It's like sports day.
Election is one by political parties, not government. Yeah. Government don't win election. Political parties
does not win election. Political party has to be well oiled. All right, look at it this way. The performance can win in North Carolina, but the performance will only win when you have a well-oiled machine messaging the performance in an acceptable way, a granular way, that the persons who you're expecting to support your bid to continue to govern can accept it. Because again, it's like you're giving a baby when I reach 1/8, one big chunk of yam for bite. You know? You have to crush it. And then after you crush it, you put little butter in it and make it kind of edible. You know, so it's like the performance is great. But right now, the people them out west that the PMP are messaging to because they want to maintain the west. It don't matter, so the government did put in place insurance near catastrophe ban. You know, it don't matter because a man in the house tonight I look up and I be a star and I see.
Yes, that means nothing to him.
But if the party did have some people, I tell them, say, yes, the help is on the way. This is what we're doing, and give them some timeline. By next week, we're going to reach a zinc, going to start distributing. He will feel a little bit more hopeful because there's somebody talking to his needs.
Yes. Yes, you're right,
so,
bro.
Yes, you know, it's going to take some time to do assessment. But you need a set of people to message to the needs to make them know, yes, help is on the way. What the PMP doing?
And
PMP
that is not the press conference. And that is not the press conference protecting.
No, it can't be the press conference.
They're not even see that. They're not even
PMP the online. PMP the on TikTok I tell them say no help now come. Who the JLP have I tell them say help come?
Yeah, they're not watching the press conference because they don't even have light.
Who is the PMP? Who they on the ground? Where G2K and Young Jamaica will fear walk up and down on the ground and say help come. Help is coming, man. The government have put together the zinc them and this and that. The PMP I tell them so they not get nothing, you know.
The ship is on the way, sir. The ship is on the way.
Oh my God, man. Sometimes I wonder if them realize, I wonder if they get too bright.
No, activists.
Everybody a degree.
Everybody want on politician protecting. Everybody want on politician.
Everybody want go in a ministry go wear jacket.
Yes, everybody want on. No activists. No activists.
The work on the ground need to happen.
No ground work from the Labour Party. Everybody want the politician. And more citing us protecting, as I'm telling you, now. It's not even also from the government standpoint when a politician need to tell you. I think that you as a political activist, somebody who represents a political party from the party level know say you're supposed to do these things. The Prime Minister don't need to tell nobody say yo when you go protest down this, I mean, the normal people to cut them things upon them man. So you don't remote.
Scratchy, may I ask a question now for quite a few years? Where the all woman them there we support the Jamaica Labour Party, where them all right in a society. A matter of fact, them are got benefit now when once they reach 65, the government introduce a program where them not paying a tax for $6 million or where them are earn. And them something there. No, where them there, if you can join some little group, just like our comrade Jeanette Calder, after she left out of the public service, she got join one sitting and jump and I tell lie out about 3 billion. Where the old people them, the big people them, if you got join some little group and register some group and have some communication to the public too as upstanding people in the society. Why don't the hierarchy of the JLP see it fit to put Professor Eldemire Shearer to work? Why they must see it fit to make she join one group, start one group, a whole woman, and call it woman rights? And talk about Michael Phillips around his wife, Don Jackson, naked a beat her. Why?
Well,
the PMP always win because the PMP understand that if you have people who are independent or seem independent from the party speaking, there are some segments of Jamaica who will listen. They don't dislike them, not get it. When the old man them they will leave the party, if you can join some men group, men for power, call it something, restoring the manhood in our society and speak to men. Where that there?
We have to pick this up again, protecting. Thank you so much.
All right, let me take care, people.
5 minutes to 10 o'clock. What a conversation as we go to Mr. Finley. Mr. Finley?
Neighbor.
Well, I am sure you were listening in and have some. You have the answers to all of these questions, sir?
I wish I did.
You wish you did.
I wish I had the answer to all these questions.
But you are the leading Labour Party man online. You are the man that
I hold no such title, sir.
no man. But you're a very influential JLP online man. And I suspect that yeah.
I've always said online Neighbour, I do not speak for the party. I speak only in support of. Right, so I do not speak for the party. The party don't send me out with a message. The party don't give me a list. I don't go to a meeting week like Belmont Road where I get marching orders. No, I speak in support of the Jamaica Labour Party.
Yeah, but your comment though today, because what we are concerned about, Chuck, is that even as the Prime Minister is so focused on this disaster, the cabinet minister, the government, Chuck, will have to be very focused over the next couple of months. But the party needs to step up and support the government. Would you agree?
100%, Neighbour. 100%. The party. There is government work and there is party work. The government work, excellent. The party work, poor.
Poor? Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. Did you say poor?
Poor. The party
My
work.
God.
The party, yes. The politics, the politicking is poor. The politicking. Remember, government cannot politics. Politics is for the party. The government is to govern. The politics is for the party. So
and you are saying, Mr. Finley, that it is poor?
Yes, the governing happens at Jamaica House. The politicking happens at Belmont Road.
And
Jamaica House is at Belmont Road is far from active, Neighbour. Belmont Road has seeded the conversation on too many occasions. If it wasn't for people like myself protecting JA, yourself and others, the Jamaica Labour Party would be buried.
Would be buried?
Yes, we are out here politicking, Neighbour. We are out here, we are playing the politics. And we are not doing it in any official capacity. We are out here because we love our country and we appreciate what the work of the party when they are in government. So we take it upon ourselves to keep them where they are.
Are you serious?
Neighbour, let me tell you something.
Is this, hold on, Caroline?
Yes, Neighbour?
Is this Chuck Finley? Is Chuck Finley talking?
Yes.
One and only.
Yes, same
You sure? Is that a comrade?
Neighbour, if I ever wake up and find myself a comrade.
No, you're saying that if it was not for the online presence of some of these patriotic Jamaicans, the party would be buried?
The party, neighbour, we are the one that saved the name Andrew Holness, you know. And we saved the name Andrew Holness. And we keep value upon the name Andrew Holness. And we make people, and we have to fight 200 world, the largest media conglomerate in the Caribbean. And we fight them, you know. And we take them on face to face. And we take on Jamaican for justice. And we take on JAMP, and we take on NIA, and we take on all of them people, the Observer, CVM, all of these media hosts that are hell-bent, and we take on Hope, Old Hope Road. All of these groups put together as some little bloggers take them on and save the name and save the Labour Party. And we fight them day and night. I mean, we give up sleepless night. Yeah, and we fight them. But neighbour, let me defend them a little bit now and tell you, say, one of the hill that the Labour Party has always had to climb is that majority, almost every term that the Labour Party spends in government, they're always dealing with some form of disaster. They always have to recover from something. hurricane, COVID, world financial crisis.
Yes.
We have never had a smooth sailing where we not have to we always have to put out one fire.
Yes.
There's always a fire where we have to put out somewhere. We spent 2 years to put out COVID. We spent 2 years for the world financial crisis. We had what the hurricane like Beryl, and now we have Melissa. We are always putting out a fire.
You're right.
Right. And luckily, our management of these disasters is normally impeccable. And we are managing this Melissa right now. We are not managing the headlines, but we are managing this disaster. And we have people who come out and try to discredit the system, try to discredit what the government is doing.
Yes.
Because most of them neighbors don't like the fact that the world is reaching out to Andrew Holness and Jamaica. They don't like it.
Yes.
So they will come and tell lies about how things are stolen when nothing goes so.
Well,
in order to discredit the relief effort. They will come and tell lies how the government is playing politics. And I will say this to you, neighbor, if there's one thing this government don't know what to do, is to politic.
Oh, they don't?
They don't. When Andrew Holness is sharing, let me tell you something. Let me give you 2 projects. Operation Pride. When the PMP was doing Operation Pride, neighbor, and you can research, and you have Caroline research this. When they were doing Operation Pride, not one single Labour Party held constituency was selected for development. None.
Not one.
Not one. Not one single constituency that was held by the Labour Party was selected for development under Operation Pride. Anybody can research that. I can tell them if I tell them a lie.
What
now,
you say to me?
Andrew Holness of the Hope House project. And he gives every single member of parliament the exact same benefit under it. Every member of parliament gets 5 houses per year.
Wow.
Operation Pride, not one single Labour Party member of parliament was selected to benefit.
My God.
So if there's one thing the Jamaica Labour Party when in government, they don't know to politics when they're in government. They believe we're going to treat everybody equally.
No, hold on. You are saying that under Operation Pride, not one constituency from
that
the
is run by a Labour Party MP was selected for any form of development under the Operation Pride program.
Is that because the PNP had all the constituencies or most?
No, they did not. They did not.
What was the
Jamaica Labour Party? It was the Operation Pride started when it was what? I think it was when the Labour Party had 8, then we move up to 25. None.
No, by the way.
None was selected, not one. And here's the problem now, neighbor. What and why I will always believe
what was the ballot
in Jamaica.
Do you know how many seats the Labour Party had?
I will have to check.
Which year?
Operation Pride was large in, I think it's either 94. Protecting, when was Operation Pride large? I think we had about 25 MP at the time, if I'm not mistaken. 25. Protecting JA, when was Operation Pride large?
If it's 25, what that means is 2002.
No, man,
I think
94.
about
94 it happened.
We never have 25 MP 94.
No, that's why I said 94. That means at the time we had either 10 or 8.
Yeah, that's 10 or 8.
Less than 20. We had less than 20.
Less than 20. Yes.
Yeah, we had 10
and then
or
we
8.
transfer 10 or 8 at the time when it launched.
You should know, Kurchong. You were working with the Greener.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was.
How long you worked there?
And I spent 30 years at North Street. 30 years, 3 and 0 at North Street.
And you are
so
saying
when
that,
I speak,
yes,
I'm not guessing.
Not guessing.
Right. And here's one of the problems we have, neighbor.
Yes.
If the Jamaica Labour Party even attempt that by mistake, it will be front line, it will be headline. Headline. You see how they make a big deal out of Andrew Holness not landing a helicopter in a bad weather in a Westmoreland?
Yes.
But yet Mark Golding and all his party members is spending every single dollar they get
at the PMP section of their constituency. Zolika Jess is walking around with the government care packages in our constituency and handpicking the PMP supporters to give, and they not give Labour right nothing in their own constituency, and it is known, and you will never see it on the Gleaner because the PMP is allowed to get away with stuff like that.
But Chuck, even Buju Banton, right, in his second address, stated that his packages was for PMP MPs, and those are his words. After saying that it was a Jamaica thing and not a JLP or PMP, but the following sentence stated that these packages from the cargo was for PMP MPs. Yes. And let Mr. Vegas go do that and see what happened.
Not only that, the cargoes were the cargo, the shipment, the crates were addressed to individual PMP member of parliament. Yes. They were addressed to individual PMP members of parliament who is to get which crate and who is to get what crate.
I know you are a busy man, Chuck, but I'd love to talk to you a little bit more on this. Can't you give us a little time one of these days, man?
Just let me know when, neighbor. What time you'll be on Saturday?
Caroline, could you talk with Caroline for me? And
I will do that.
And let's put something together, please.
All right, neighbor, I will do that.
You're at work? You're at work now, sir?
Yes, man. I'm at work now.
All right, great. Okay. Thank you for joining.
Text me a number, please.
I will do that, Caroline. I will do that. All right.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, this is fantastic, and you know he has made a very good point, and you know Scratchy has been making this point all along, and he said that if it was not for online presence of people like himself, Mr. Vegas, and all the others, the Labour Party would have probably been decimated. What a comment from a man who is a leading blogger for the Jamaica Labour Party. Don't listen to what he is saying. Chuck is one of those guys who have done lots of hours out there for the Jamaica Labour Party. What an amazing statement that he has made. Guys, it is 8 minutes after 10 and I am out of time. Let's do a little round table after Ian. Ian? Dawson? No, he's not. He's not there. Let's start with
hello.
Good night, sir. Oh, he's gone. Let's start with Harry. Harry.
Yes, neighbor.
As we go, Harry, the gist of tonight's program is that the party will have to look at how it is seeding the ground to the opposition, and that it must assert itself in support of the government, especially at a time when the government will be very, very distracted with the hurricane relief. Harry.
Yes, neighbor. Because really and truly, it's all about, in its simplest form, going back to basics, right? That has always been something that helped us to put up a fight. But what we've seen is, as the saying goes, hard times create great men create easy time create weak men. And we've seen that from the arms right through the party. I think they've taken some things for granted because the PMP is deemed weaker. But like we've said, days and over a week ago, they have infiltrated and placed people in specific positions to shape the narrative. And I think I can tell it from personal experience. I don't know if G2K still does this or to this great extent, but there was a time when Yui Mona was heavily filled with their affiliates, right? With PMP affiliates.
With whose affiliate?
With the People's National Party affiliates. So you'd have the lecturers.
Hold up. The University of the West Indies?
They're still
yes,
there.
neighbor.
My God.
I can tell you because in one of my years, even Damian Crawford taught me 2 courses. So they do have their operatives in areas, and what they do is subtly throw nuggets and what we used to do at G2K.
Oh my God.
Because
Hold on. Hold on. Mighty Jesus. Oh, no, sir. I can't. You're saying that they subtly throw nuggets in the class.
yes, man, right? And stir up certain thought process. But what we used to do, and I said, I don't know if anybody from G2K is here or listening, can reach out to me and tell me if we still do this. All right? Because I was very curious. I went to even PMPYO to see what they were doing because, you know, you want to know what others are doing. But there was a strategy with G2K where I think it was every Thursday they meet and would have a target class and an individual and topic that you have to ensure any moment or anytime that is a discussion, you're able to shut it down because you would have done some form of research. And we used to have a little competition between each other who have the best research because we wanted to ensure we counter it as a student, as a intellect, to challenge these thought processes. So you didn't come off as if you're challenging the individual, you know. You're challenging the thought process, which now inadvertently and indirectly have those persons who are indecisive to come on your side. Because that was, and this worked for Andrew, you know. So don't think it never worked. It was proven. And there are so many things they used to do to ensure you protected the future. So it should have been the new voters coming up and so on, because at that time, the Jamaica Labour Party identified that they needed that subsection of potential voters in the next year to 5 years. I'm not seeing that now, neighbor. Now, even on the ground, and this is me telling you from personal experience, so nobody can come say no. All right? Even on the ground in my area, as somebody who grew up in politics, understand governance and so on, I watch JLP candidates come in, be the nice guy, pretty guy kind of thing, don't talk to much people, and then when back is against the wall, they try to find the stalwarts of it to kind of butter them up for a last push. You can't have last push if you never have no form of push. And this divides people now because I know that, for example, you're dear neighbor. I know you're there from 20 years and I never reach out to you and I'm going to be the candidate. So it leaves a bitter taste in party supporters' mouth and they'll just go and vote, you know, because they now make PMP outvote them. But the groundwork that they've done so well, and I can tell you this, what the PMP has done, I know several persons, they're older than me, they're my seniors, who have been backing the People's National Party from their 18 and they're now 50 and 60 and them say them tired, but guess what? Them still come to the work for them party. But you don't have the same sentiment with Jamaica Labour Party people. And that is because there's whether it be a miscommunication, a gap between the actual party and the people on the ground. Because really and truly, I think they have forsaken some aspect of what made them great. And that is something why I said I have to go back to the grassroots, get your hands dirty, talk to the people them, and oil your machine again, because you should not take the fact that you've gotten 2 terms and now 3 terms, because guess what? While they're there just enjoying the fruits of their labor, the PNP has always been strengthening, and they have, you hear me come up here, I always give them credit on the neighbor. They're one of the best strategists out there. They have not forsaken, even when them split and fight against each other, they still have that against them. And I want to put it to Scratchy and anybody else for the Jamaica Labour Party. You have a football coach, I'm going to use somewhat of football terms, Pep Guardiola, one of the best tactician currently in the game, where if you lose the ball, you're a player of his team, and if you lose that ball, you have 4 seconds to get it back. And you have to get it back within that 4 seconds. If not, you regroup
and come with larger numbers to get it back. What I mean by that, neighbor, when information is put out, when things are said about the government, the party has to take that 4 seconds and attack it at every and all angles.
My
right?
God.
Because no, what happened is that the government hands are tied. This is the only time their hands are tied, but the party hands aren't. And they have to understand that the part is not the party that is governing. It is selective members that are in governance that are running. So if you're the secretary, if you're the second man, if you're the state minister, you can actually be on the ground. You don't have to be everywhere the actual minister is. And if you're shadowing a minister, you have to learn how to balance it, because what is happening now, we're struggling, neighbor, to find a balance between governance and doing politics. We've seen it for almost a decade, and it has to be corrected.
Caroline, please, can you send me a little money? I have to buy Harry a drink. It's that good. Joshua?
Greetings again, sir.
Joshua, I heard you agreeing with Harry in terms of what is happening at the university. Amazing.
All right, so let me give you an example of that. There's a gentleman known as Bernard, who's from Flanker in Montego Bay. I know his family very well. He doesn't know me, but I know his family very well. In fact, one of his sister and myself went to school, right? That's how well I know the family. I can tell you where they grew up. I can tell you what the house looked like. I've met the mother, right? He's a lecturer at UA, and he's a senator in the People's National Party right now. Trevor Monroe. We know who Trevor Monroe is. Lecturer at UA. The gentleman from Mount Salem in Montego Bay. The economist. Andre Horton. Lecturer at UA. Damon Crawford. Lecturer at UA. Need I say more? It tells you how saturated UA is with the voices of the People's National Party. In addition to that, that was created by Edward Philip George Siaga, is laced with activists of the People's National Party. The head of UA, locally, People's National Party. And this is what they have done. And that is what I spoke about when I said an all of society approach, because the educational institutions are filled with PNP surrogates. The military and paramilitary organizations are filled with People's National Party supporters. The IC, the best friend of Dayton Campbell, is at the helm of the investigative arm of the IC. The judiciary is filled with PNP surrogates, right? Civil society is filled with PNP surrogates. National Integrity Action. If you look at the board members who are there are eight board members, and not one is a GLP and not one is a neutral. So they're there to carry the voice of the PNP and not the voice of the nation. No pun intended. Right? When you look at even Mikhail Jackson, JFJ, PNP surrogate again. And that is why the PNP always has a voice in society. Right? Buju Banton, right? I know Buju. Buju and myself grew up together. He probably doesn't remember me. We grew up in Park Lane. Buju can tell you that we used to take phone calls at Shecky Green House together. And I make sure that I call the name because I want him to remember who I am. Right? Before him boss, when he used to wear him one little blue jean shirt and button up to the neck with one pants to roll up and go in Park Lane and go look for Lana when nobody never want him. Right? And Buju grew up among laborites, and I'm surprised that he's a PNP, right? And he understands the value of backing the Labour Party because this country needs the Jamaica Labour Party, because it's the only party that has ever truly cared for the nation, right? The PNP use a lot of rhetoric, yes. The Teachers Association, as I mentioned. So I am just I'm just strengthening Harry's argument about all of society at some place in society. We look at Ralston, as I like to call him, Lyman instead of Hyman, who's supposed to be an economist, spreading PNP narrative. And instead of bringing the factual information out there in terms of how an economy works. He at all times takes the PNP line of reasoning, even if it embarrasses him. That's how loyal they are to the party and not to the country. Now I hear Protecting JA spoke of ear cover. What is ear cover? Ear cover in warfare. And it's important that we understand this, because in warfare, you have land, sea, and air in warfare, right? The ear cover is where the airplanes fly overhead, make sure that they provide that cover using bullets to deter the enemy so that those on the ground can carry out the mission, right? And we have to borrow from these. That is why I spoke about having a war room, because unless we understand the concept of war, the PNP will continue to control the narrative, right? And what is counter warfare? Counter warfare, on the other hand, is not, so on the one hand, warfare is advancement. Counter warfare is not only advancement, but also defensive strategies being employed to ensure that the enemy don't retake ground, one, that you have already taken, and two, the grounds that they have already taken, we want to retake it from them. That is what counter warfare is, right? And the Jamaica Labour Party need to use these things. How can they do this? The Jamaica Labour Party needs, in addition to what was said, need to begin to engage psychologists and political strategists, right, where necessary, because it's necessary. Political strategists, psychologists, and marketeers. Why marketeers? Because marketeers are trained in the art of selling, right? When I was doing marketing as part of my discipline, one of the things that I learned is that when toothpaste was first created, it didn't have any mint in it. And somebody came up with the idea of putting mint in it and call it new and improved.
That's why they put syrup in Panadol for children, sir.
Right? So what you're doing, it's the same thing that you're giving, but because you put something in it that changes the taste and give an enhanced flavor, then somebody sees it as something different when it's really the same thing they're getting back.
Yes, that's sweet. They would never drink the bitter. Yeah, Cersei. You can't get in Cersei, sir.
Right. And so with marketing personnel, what marketing personnel will tell you how to position the party. Political strategists will tell you how to approach it, and psychologists will tell you how to get into the minds of people.
Wow. Wow. That's it. That's the ground game that the party needs, eh? Fantastic. Well, Joshua, been a long night, but fruitful discussion, and I thank you, sir.
No problem, sir. Always my pleasure. God bless you.
You too, man. Ian Dawson, before we... Hello, Ian.
Yeah,
Ian?
good night, neighbor.
Good night. Good night, sir.
Good night, neighbor. You hear me?
Yeah,
neighbor, we in a serious position. We in a serious position, neighbor. We in a serious position. You know why? The type of destruction and the time is not with us. Because based on how insurance even really work, I think investigation have to go on. You have to see the damage. We can't get a category 5 today and tomorrow we're up and running. You know, make sense. You understand? So the Jamaican people need to give the party a chance and a little more time, because it's like some narrative for them a preach. Andrew want thief the Delco them. All kind of rubbish. You can imagine if we even get 10,000 Delco, we couldn't get everybody one. It wouldn't work out. You know, make no sense. You know?
Right.
100 blow the storm.
Yeah.
I wonder what age we live in now. You know? But you know, me just hope and pray God stay with the Labour Party, because I good over evil. And if we win this election, we will win back the minds of the people. You know? God will help us through. And me just wait patiently. And I might look a piece that for the night, neighbor, because we know you have to leave, you know?
Yeah, man.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much too. All right. Thank you, Ian. Scratchy?
Yes, neighbor.
Well, Scratchy, I have my respect to you, sir, and I've lifted my hat to you because this is the exact point that you have made ever since I met you more than 6 months ago, Scratchy, that you have been saying that, and I think there was a time when you were speaking, Scratchy, that many were saying you should ease up off this, but it has turned right around, Scratchy. And isn't it true, Scratchy, that as the party progress in government, it must be very careful not to lose the ground, Scratchy?
Neighbor, you cannot lose the ground, neighbor. The ground is where elections are won, neighbor. I don't care what government want to do, neighbor. Neighbor, I will speak about I have the privilege of a conversation with a PNP friend of mine, a very high-ranking member of the PNP, neighbor. And I was telling him that after Anjo fix up St. Elizabeth and Westmont and it done after that the PNP. Neighbor, the guy basically look me dead in the face, neighbor, tell me, say, Scratchy, Anjo could have want fix from now till God come. And money upon the day talk. So neighbor, the PNP, neighbor, they are of a totally different belief with the politics, neighbor. It is a very tantamount task for the JLP going forward, neighbor. The PNP is of a different belief. They believe in they don't have the resources, neighbor. So they're gonna spread the propaganda and come in, they're gonna try to bank up whatever resources they can bank up for come election time. Because it's all about money for them, neighbor. That's why they want all this money from the government. It's all about money for them, neighbor. That is what they're pushing for, neighbor. Money, because money is the reason why the People's National Party is pushing. But neighbor, I definitely think that the Jamaica Labour Party, they need to come stronger on the ground, neighbor, from a constituency level. I think that's where we're lacking, neighbor. It cannot just be from the top, neighbor. We need, I understand, neighbor, it don't have to be in form of any form of criminal activity or connection with any form of criminals, neighbor. In this community, we have upstanding persons in all of these communities, neighbor, who support and love the party. Put these persons in position of leadership, neighbor, and then push the agenda of the party. Young persons who are coming up, neighbor, I don't see the younger generation. Yes, neighbor, when the jingle time come around to run up and down, they are dear, neighbor. But when it comes to time to defend the party, neighbor, they are not in defense of the party, neighbor. These persons are who called bangarang labor rights, neighbor. They just come around for the excitement, come around for the joy, come around for running up and down. But really and truly, neighbor, they are not labor rights. They are more supporter. And come election day, neighbor, is these same young person, it's the same type of person, they don't go out and vote, neighbor. They don't go out and vote either. They are just come around for the bangarang and the excitement, neighbor. That come with the campaigning. So we have some serious work to do going forward, neighbor. And it must be done from
listening to Chuck, those Scratchy. I was shocked that Chuck is saying that vloggers trapped the party on their backs, and if it wasn't for them, party would have been dead, Scratchy. Amazing. Chuck?
Neighbor, I would definitely have to agree with Chuck 1000%, neighbor. If it wasn't for bloggers, neighbor, on the platform, neighbor, the total, neighbor, the PNP would have totally have this one, neighbor, because that is where they fall short, neighbor. They fall short, neighbor, and the media, the influence of the media.
And I must say something without breaking you. I noticed that there are PNP MPs going on some lives, and I guess to associate with those people, Scratchy, brings authenticity to those lives.
Exactly, neighbor. That is what they.
You know how many of them I have invited here, Scratchy? Some of these, I haven't seen one of them. Amazing.
That is the issue, neighbor, that we have always had with supporter with the Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor. Sometimes, neighbor, the member of parliament, neighbor, sometimes they go too high up, neighbor, where they feel like it's, you know. And I think they need to always remember, keep it roots. And that PNP blog, neighbor, PNP keep it roots to them people, neighbor. There was a PNP blogger who came out one time and said, we don't follow Andrew Holness, follow no, Mark Golding follow all our blogger them. But not a straight though, neighbor. Yes, neighbor, bloggers did play a wonderful role, neighbor. Chuck Finley, neighbor, someone who I agree with the neighbor. A man who take charge of the platform, neighbor, very informative, and he and his team, neighbor, did up some wonderful job, neighbor. Definitely had a lot of bloggers and everyone, neighbor, even the person in the chat, neighbor. We definitely come out strong, neighbor, for the PNP, neighbor. If it wasn't for the bloggers, neighbor, trust me, it would have been a different ball game come election day, neighbor. Because these bloggers, neighbor, they change the mindset of a lot of persons, neighbor. A lot of persons who didn't fully understand the politics, neighbor. They have their respective bloggers who they can connect with, who they might understand more on a different level. And they gain some form of knowledge, they gain a better understanding. Certain of the misinformation that were out there is these platforms where they come and get the information from and can move on and share that information again, neighbor. But I am still concerned, neighbor, about my party when it comes to the ground, neighbor. And to certain extent, neighbor, I kind of understand, neighbor, because if you match the supporters who support the Jamaica Labour Party and the supporters who support the People's National Party, neighbor, if you match them one-on-one, neighbor, you get a more higher quality of persons on the side of the Jamaica Labour Party, and with a higher quality. Yes, neighbor, definitely. With a higher quality of persons, neighbor, it come with a higher demand in your life, meaning you might have a job, you might have a business, you might be more occupied compared to a People's National Party supporter, neighbor. And based on your job, neighbor, your job might require certain behavior of your neighbor, so you cannot come on social media and be certain way. You can't come on social media and be too political because of the nature of your job.
Yes.
So I understand, neighbor, from a certain point to the Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor. I definitely kind of share and understand from that level, but I think we can still try, in some other ways, neighbor. We can still try to see how best we can revive up these constituencies, neighbor. Have a steady base. We cannot wait till nomination day, neighbor, then we start campaign. We need a steady base from right now, go all the way up to election day, neighbor, because, neighbor, if you keep a steady presence in a community, neighbor, over a 4 or 5 year period, neighbor, don't over promise, because a lot of these politicians, neighbor, they over promise, neighbor, and damage them credibility. Them come and promise everything and can't provide it, neighbor, and damage them credibility. So the people don't want to see them no more. Damage them credibility because you come with one bag of some fire lie. So them damage them own credibility. People don't want them to hide. Don't over promise. Just go in the constituency, be real with the people, and you are not in government, you just there, show present, you can still show best you can lobby on them behalf. And I guarantee you, neighbor, you build a connection like that, neighbor. No matter how many time man come with money, neighbor, I take the money and go vote for you, see, because you will the right case of 4 or 5 years with me. So they must understand these things, neighbor. Election is not just one nomination. There are 20 a day before campaigning and nomination. Now you have to depend on the ground, on the ball, party presence, right through. Yeah, neighbor party.
Catch you tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow, Caroline. We will not be here tomorrow morning, right?
That's correct, neighbor.
Great. So it's been a fantastic week, and we catch our listeners tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock, Friday, 7 o'clock on a Friday. And
I wanted to use the small one. Hey, did not take it to thank you.
Let me come back. Let me wear my dress. I could not leave my phone to go and look for a dress and come back because I wanted to finish the song. Let me come on camera. I have to come on camera. Uncle Chris, please don't go. Give me a sec. Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to turn my camera on. I am about to turn my camera on, as a matter of fact. I was already in bed, so I was just sitting in bed, and I was sitting on my bed and I was singing. I was not even dressed at all. Not even
I say, please wear good clothes, so we're going to judge you.
I wear my t-shirt. Did you know the way these people who work from home used to wear suit and tie, like just the top and in the bottom there's nothing? That's what I'm about to do. I'm about to dress like I'm about to attend a business meeting.
Don't go and do like as if we're your neighbors.
No, you're my neighbor.
You know how you can open gates for your neighbors.
Nah.
I feel like you've changed your outfits from what you planned. Like, maybe I'll go wear something else. I'm a fashion judge now.
Please, nobody.
The first thing we're going to do is rate you before
No,
you.
please. I want ugly bacala on my head right now. Like, you don't want to see it.
That coin on Carrie's head, she needs to be wearing her Christmas clothes, her 2025 Christmas clothes.
I'm telling you.
No,
the 2025 one.
No.
Mami Sarah, thank you so much. How you doing? Welcome in. Oh. Hey. Oh yeah, everybody rate her out of 10.
Make way. Oh, please don't rate me. Don't rate me.
I want to see your face when you're singing. It's true, I didn't ask you to open your camera yesterday. You're so lucky.
No, you don't have to see my face when I'm singing.
I
I
want
can
to
be
see.
making some kind of faces and, you know.
That's what I want to see. It sounded like you were
No,
crying in the last song.
no, I was not crying.
I was like, oop, somebody has broken my heart.
But thank God for this cap, I can cover my face. So